everybody, Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here again. Yeah, I see 5 bottles sitting there, and no, this is not a party, but we are going to have some fun. So stay tuned and enjoy the video. Okay, what I'd like to do with these bottles is I'd like to take you through the process of showing you how I can take these little bottles and make some little oil candles out of them. It's a very fun process. Some of the things that you're going to need are a small finish nail, some sort of little hammer, some yarn, and in our case preferably 100% cotton. We're going to use that for the wick. And last but not least, we're going to need some oil lamp fuel. I'm going to go ahead and start by taking all of the lids off of these bottles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke holes through them. And that's what I'm going to run my wick up through. Okay, so I'm going to take these little lids, and in the bottom of them you can see that there's a little, oh, I don't know what you call it, a little seal, I guess you could call it. So I want to pick those seals out. Take them out. We don't need this. We're going to go ahead and discard that. If we were to leave those in, they would melt in our lids. So we need our lids to look like this. So I'm just picking through and getting those little plastic seals out. Whoops, dropping them. Pick that up here in a second. Hello. So there's our 5 lids without the seals in them. Okay, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to take my small finish nail and I'd like to go from the inside of the lid outward or downward and just poke a little hole through. And what I'm going to do with this hole is I'm going to put my wick through it. And you notice that there's some small burrs on the bottom, and we want to leave those because what we're going to do is we're going to put the wick through, and that'll kind of serve as a, I don't know what to call it, but it'll stop the wick from pulling back down into the bottle. So I'm just going to go through, poke holes in all 5 of these little lids. Nothing significant. Okay, so we're all done. Again, we want to leave those small burrs. Those are important. Okay, now we want to take our twine and measure the length of the bottles and double that. Okay, so I like to have my twine, or excuse me, my yarn approximately twice as long as the bottles. And these scissors are so dull. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 5 little wicks, and then I'll be back. Okay, now I'm going to take these wicks one at a time, and I'm just going to I said, about 1/4 of an inch. But that's not that significant, because once we put fuel in these and we start to burn them, those wicks will come down to the length that they need to be anyway. They'll burn down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take a small funnel and I'm going to start adding fuel to these. Now, I don't like to add fuel beyond the neck up here. So, because this fuel pours very fast, so I usually start stopping about right here or so. Otherwise you'll overfill. And I'm always spilling stuff, so I gotta stop down there. So I'm going to go ahead and fill these up. And they don't hold that much fuel. I'll just add a little bit more. Just like that. One. See? Spilled fuel. And don't worry about spilling fuel too much. As long, I mean, that's why I use this little old piece of wood here. You know, but that's it. They're full. Okay, let's take our wicks and let's drop them down in. And the reason I have them long is because I want them to rest around the bottom a little bit to make sure that we're going to be getting all the fuel. We're just going to put the lids on. The wick itself will soak up some of this fuel, so it'll lower the level down a little bit. And don't worry too much about the mess. Hopefully you're not doing this on your nice wooden kitchen table or something. You know, your dinner table. Hopefully you're like me and you're using a scrap piece of wood. You don't want your spouse to get really upset with you. You know, and the reason, like I said, that I like these wicks a little long is to make sure that it gets all the fuel. Okay, at this point we have all of our wicks in, so we want to put our finger over the top of the wick and just do them upside down real quick, and that'll make sure that the wicks are nice and wet with the fuel. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean up this excess fuel, and I'll see you in a second. Alright, let's go ahead and light these up and see how they work. And they'll take them a little bit of time to start burning. In the meantime, I'm going to shut some of these lights off so we can see what they look like. Right now, the flames are a little bit long, like on the end one there, on the right. But these flames will come down and they'll start to look like a candle. So we'll just wait and we'll come take a look and see what they do, how they look here in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. It's been about 30 minutes and these things have had a little time to burn, and you can see that the flames have really settled down. They've came down to normal size flames. They make beautiful candles. The flames coming down in size is due to two things. One is the wicks are a little smaller, and two is we've started to burn a little bit of fuel. Now let me get my pointer and I'll point something out here to you. Okay, so this one right here, you can see the fuel level is down a little bit, and what happens here is your flame has to draw fuel through this wick. In other words, this air pocket right here makes the flame have to work a little bit to gather fuel. When I first started these, the fuel levels were real high and they were real close to the flame, which made the demand for fuel easy, which is another reason why the flames were tall. But now that we have to work to get fuel up there through that air pocket, if you will, that kind of helps settle down these flames, because it takes a little bit of effort. So the flame is further away from the source of fuel, and that helps bring the flames down. So again, this is a good example of one man's trash is another man's treasure. You know, these are just little old bottles that I found. They have the little metal lids, as you know, and a lot of people out there might be thinking, well, dude, these are plastic bottles, man, and you got flames on them. You got little fire on them, and the little lids are going to get hot, and they're going to catch on fire. Well, that's partially true. From my experience, and I've been doing these oil candles for a long, long time, yes, they're plastic bottles. Yes, there's flame, and yes, the lids get hot, but I've never seen one catch on fire. I've never had one that went crazy or anything like that. Now, I have seen some, in the worst case scenario, I have seen some, the lids would get hot and it would kind of melt the plastic around the lid a little bit, but all that really did was distort the color of the plastic, and it kind of deformed it a little bit, made the lids hard to get off or whatever. But you know, I've been using them for a long time and they work fine. So I've never seen anything dangerous happen or anything like that. Again, I wanted to say thanks for watching the video. I hope you found something useful here. Feel free to leave comments, feel free to subscribe, and be careful out there with the fuels and stuff like that. But have fun. These candles really do work well. So again, thanks. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye-bye now.